Chapter 11 Pranayama and its parallel in speech, Mantra Yoga. The connection between breath and mind will be fully discussed in speaking of the magic sword, but it may be useful to premise a few details of a practical character. You may consult various Hindu manuals and the writings of Chuang Tzu for various notable theories as to method and result. But in this skeptical system one had better content oneself with statements which are not worth the trouble of doubting. The ultimate idea of meditation being to still the mind, it may be considered a useful preliminary to still consciousness of all the functions of the body. This has been dealt with in the chapter on asana. One may, however, mention that some yogins carry it to the point of trying to stop the beating of the heart. Whether this be desirable or no, it would be useless to the beginner, so he will endeavor to make the breathing very slow and very regular. The rules for this practice are given in LIBER 206. The best way to time the breathing, once some little skill has been acquired, with a watch to bear witness, is by the use of a mantra. The mantra acts on the thoughts very much as pranayama does upon the breath. The thought is bound down to a recurring cycle. Any intruding thoughts are thrown off by the mantra, just as pieces of putty would be from a flywheel, and the swifter the wheel, the more difficult would it be for anything to stick. This is the proper way to practice a mantra. Utter it as loudly and slowly as possible 10 times. Then not quite so loudly and a very little faster 10 times more. Continue this process until there is nothing but a rapid movement of the lips. This movement should be continued with increased velocity and diminishing intensity until the mental muttering completely absorbs the physical. The student is by this time absolutely still, with the mantra racing in his brain. He should, however, continue to speed it up until he reaches his limit, at which he should continue for as long as possible, and then cease the practice by reversing the process above described. Any sentence may be used as a mantra, and possibly the Hindus are correct in thinking that there is a particular sentence best suited to any particular man. Some men might find the liquid mantras of the Quranran slid too easily, so that it would be possible to continue another train of thought without disturbing the mantra. One is supposed, while saying the mantra, to meditate upon its meaning. This suggests that the student might construct for himself a mantra which should represent the universe in sound, as the pentacle should be in form. Occasionally, a mantra may be heard in some unexplained manner during a meditation. One man, for example, used the words, "and strive to see in everything the will of God." To another, while engaged in killing thoughts, came the words, "and push it down," apparently referring to the action of the inhibitory centers that he was using. By keeping on with this, he got his result. The ideal mantra should be rhythmical, one might even say musical, but there should be sufficient emphasis on some syllable to assist the faculty of attention. The best mantras are of medium length, so far as the beginner is concerned. If the mantra is too long, one is apt to forget it, unless one practices very hard for a great length of time. On the other hand, mantras of a single syllable, such as Aum, are rather jerky. The rhythmical idea is lost. Here are a few useful mantras. Aum. Aum Tat Sat Aum. This mantra is purely spondiatic. Aum Tat Sat Aum. Aum Tat Sat Aum. Aum Mani Padme Hum. 2 treaches between 2 kaisuras. Aum Mani Padme Hum. Aum Mani Padme Hum. Aum Savayam Fasi, 3 treaches. Note that Si means rest. The absolute or male aspect of the deity, Ba, is energy, the manifested or female side of the deity. This mantra therefore expresses the whole course of the universe, from zero through the finite back to zero. Aum Si Vaya Vasi. Aum Si Vaya Ya The syllables of this are accented equally with a certain pause between them, and are usually combined by fakris, with a rhythmical motion of the body to and fro. Auala, ulahila, ilaha, ila, wa. Here are some longer ones. The famous Gayatri, Aum Tatsavitur Varunyam, Fargo Devasyam Dihimahai, Dihyo Yona Prakodayat. Scan this as tracheac tetrameters. Cool. Hu Allahu Ahad, Allahu Samad, Lam Yalid Walam Yulad, Walam Yakun Lahu Kufayan Ahad. This mantra is the holiest of all that are or can be. It is from the stele of revealing. Akar Dua Tuf Ud Bu Bai Aa Chufu Dudunir Auf An Nuturu. Aku Dua Tuf Ud Bayu Bai Chehu Du Near Af Bone Nu Teru. Such are enough for selection. There are many other mantras. Sri Sabhapati Swami gives a particular one for each of the chakras. But let the student select one mantra and master it thoroughly. You have not even begun to master a mantra until it continues unbroken through sleep. This is much easier than it sounds. Some schools advocate practicing a mantra with the aid of instrumental music and dancing. Certainly very remarkable effects are obtained in the way of magic powers. Whether great spiritual results are equally common is a doubtful point. Persons wishing to study them may remember that the Sahara Desert is within 3 days of London, and no doubt the Sidi Iswaya would be glad to accept pupils. This discussion of the perilous science of mantra yoga has led us far indeed from the subject of pranayama. Pranayama is notably useful in quieting the emotions and appetites, and whether by reason of the mechanical pressure which it asserts, or by the ethereal combustion which it assures in the lungs, it seems to be admirable from the standpoint of health. Digestive problems in particular are very easy to remove in this way. It purifies both the body and the lower functions of the mind, and should be practiced certainly never less than 1 hour daily by the serious student. 4 hours is a better period, a golden mean. 16 hours is too much for most people.